Welcome to Cardano Over Coffee. Please remember to like and subscribe to the YouTube channel and download the podcast. The first guest we talked to today is Ben from NuFi Wallet. They've created a non-custodial wallet for Cardano, Ethereum, Flow, Milkomeda C1, and Solana with hardware wallet support. Stake, buy, and trade, and use NFTs with Dapps on multiple chains. Then we talked to Tango Crypto, who's providing scalable and easy-to-use platform for developers and creators on Cardano. Listen in to see how you can take advantages of their services. Don't forget, we'll be in Denver, Colorado, August 24th through the 26th at Rare Evo. Get your early bird tickets now at rareevo.io. And yes, Cardano is accepted. Use discount code COC10 for 10% off. Already discounted price. Grab your coffee and let's get right into it. Anyways, with that being said, I'd like to welcome NuFi Wallet to their very first Twitter space.
Thank you. Thank you. I should clarify, it's my first Twitter space. I'm Ben from NuFi. Typically, our CEO, Mikhail, is the one that you may have seen on some Twitter spaces and AMAs. But as you saw from the setup just now with me trying to get in here to Twitter, this is my first Twitter space. So thank you for having me.
Thanks, Ben. I appreciate you taking time out of your day and coming. We're going to talk about what NuFi is and the recent Catalyst proposal that you guys just completed. But yes. Why don't you just, for those that don't know you, why don't you introduce yourself, how you got into crypto, how you found maybe NuFi, how you found Cardano, all that fun little backstory.
Great, sure. I'd love to. I think compared to many, my experience in crypto is limited. I think it's a couple of years now that I've been interested in crypto, and maybe a year and a half that I've been more solely focused on Cardano. And I joined, let's say, the crypto space through A Dapp. Are you familiar with the A Dapp wallet?
Yes.
Okay, so I joined A Dapp at a time when NuFi was being, let's say, conceived and built as the kind of upgraded newer wallet run by our team. Now, NuFi isn't A Dapp 2.0. I should point that out. A lot of people ask me if NuFi is the new version of A Dapp, but they're very different wallets, and I'll talk more about NuFi shortly. But A Dapp about 18 months ago was looking for a community manager, somebody that would handle, let's say, support tickets and help with technical things with clients for A Dapp and for NuFi. So when I joined, NuFi was kind of in a wireframe and being created. And then we launched, I suppose, about a year and a half ago. So at the end of December, the year before last, we launched NuFi Wallet. So my introduction to crypto initially, let's say a couple of years ago, was through a friend. I think, like most people, I overheard a friend who worked in the space talking about it, and I had a million questions. And then slowly I start to buy a little bit. I think I was buying Cardano and a little bit of Ethereum at first. And as you know, you start small. And then I think within half a year, I'd had enough of, let's say, DeFi and like rebasing DAOs that I got into in other ecosystems. And then I started to focus more on what's happening within Cardano. And alongside this, I'm starting to work for A Dapp and for NuFi and really start to meet people kind of behind the scenes in Cardano, which has been fascinating. I mean, you guys have this show and you speak to, is it weekly that you do the show?
Oh, no, sir. We've been doing the show daily for almost a year and a half now.
Oh, blimey. Well, you will know many of the kind of the important people from around the ecosystem, and you'll know what they do well. But for me and for NuFi, this since Catalyst, I would say, so let's say since November or December last year, once we started to kind of finish our Catalyst milestones and we had some good news to report, it's really been our first time kind of meeting people that have been doing networking within Catalyst and within Cardano for years and years. So I just mentioned it's my first Twitter space, and hopefully the start of many more. But we're quite new, let's say, on this kind of scene. I mean, the wallet has been around for more than a year, like I said, but it's really the past couple of months that we've been reaching out, and that I've been reaching out to speak to people like yourselves and share some of the good news that we've had recently.
Yeah, why don't you tell us about the NuFi wallet, what kind of your goals are, what the whole project's goals are, and then we'll get into that Catalyst proposal specifically.
Great, yes. NuFi is, like I said, we were running A Dapp, a Cardano-only wallet, and then it was decided at some point that what we really wanted to start to harness was the kind of multi or cross-chain kind of experience that was becoming more and more popular. So we started with Cardano and Solana integrations. And then in the following year, we added support for Flow blockchain, and then Milkomeda, C1 and Ethereum. So we're a multi-chain wallet. So in terms of what you can use NuFi for, I mean, we're just like any other Cardano wallet that connects you to Dapps and allows you to manage your assets and accounts, NFTs and staking. The difference is that we do this for all of the 5 chains that we support, aside from Ethereum and Milkomeda staking, that'll come soon. But our ethos is to create something that users who are living, let's say, a multi-chain or a cross-chain life can use. So rather than having, let's say, 4 or so wallets, one for your Solana and Cardano and Ethereum and so on, you can have one wallet that does everything you need. Like I said, connecting to Dapps and staking and NFTs and things like this. So we built NuFi with the idea that we would create this much like a MetaMask for non-EVM and EVM chains.
Yeah, that's really interesting because I know before I became more of a Cardano maxi, right? When I was, we'll say 2018, 2019, I owned a lot of tokens from a lot of different chains. And there was, you know how many different wallets I had to own to be able to do that back then? So it definitely was a problem when you were trying to be on and work with multiple chains. So it's good to see these solutions coming to fruition.
Yeah, we think so. I mean, I personally use MetaMask every day to do something or other on this or that chain. And you kind of take for granted that MetaMask will connect you to all these different EVM chains. But sadly, like for people like us who are very invested in a particular ecosystem, if that's not included in MetaMask, if it's not EVM, then you're almost forced to use at least 2 wallets, and then for every new non-EVM chain you add, you're adding another wallet, like you just said. So our goal is to get leading non-EVM and EVM chains together, because I too have many wallets, and they probably all have a little bit of assets in them. I think that if I were to go back and look at all my different wallets on different chains, I think that I would find a little payday. I'm sure it's the same for you.
Oh, absolutely. I have dust laying around everywhere. Right?
Yeah.
It would be nice to have that all in kind of one wallet. So I like this solutional. Let's talk about the Catalyst proposal that you guys had put up, now that we know a little bit of what NuFi is doing.
Yes, sure. Well, I'd like to shout out Tommy Askanainen from Catalyst first, because he's the reason that NuFi was, let's say, alerted to a suitable Catalyst challenge. Like we've been around, the A Dapp team has been around since about 2018, and we've always supported Catalyst. I mean, we have Catalyst registration in the A Dapp wallet, but we had never, as a team, applied for funding. It hadn't really ever crossed our mind until last summer. And Tommy reached out and said there's a category, it's cross-chain collaboration. And there's another one, a great migration from Ethereum. And there's a kind of a multi-chain wallet already that could accommodate additional chains without having to change kind of the wallet UI or UX. We thought, yeah, this is something we could apply for. So after investigation, we thought that the most suitable thing for us would be to give our wallet some kind of utility within one of these challenges. And so we decided to apply for funding to integrate Ethereum and Milkomeda, so that NuFi could become the let's say the easy migration wallet for users who are migrating from Ethereum.
If you're ready to migrate from Ethereum to Cardano, start by disabling MetaMask and Flint or Eternal wallets as shown here. Next, connect your NuFi Wallet's Ethereum and Milkomeda C1 accounts to a bridge like Cbridge or Multichain. Click Connect with MetaMask and NuFi will launch instead. If it doesn't, refresh the page and try again. Here I'm moving Ethereum from my NuFi Wallet's Ethereum account to my NuFi Wallet's Milkomeda account. When it arrives in my Milkomeda C1 account, I'll need to swap it for Milkada before I can bridge it to Cardano. Do this by connecting your NuFi Wallet's Milkomeda C1 and Cardano accounts to Blueshift. First, I'll use Blueshift swap function to exchange the F to Milkada. Then I'll use Blueshift's bridge function to bridge this to Cardano, where Milkada becomes ADA. Milkada is Milkomeda C1's native asset, and you'll use it to pay gas and fees for any transaction. If you don't have any Milkada in your NuFi Wallet's Milkomeda C1 account to pay gas and fees, you can send ADA from Cardano to Milkomeda C1, where it becomes Milkada. You may need to manually import some Milkomeda C1 tokens before they appear in your NuFi wallet. Most tokens are auto-discovered and they'll appear automatically, but if that's not the case, please click Manage Account and then Import Token as shown here. When a user has migrated from Ethereum to Cardano, they can use NuFi Wallet to stake Cardano, manage NFTs on different chains together in a multi-chain NFT gallery, and swap tokens on the Cardano blockchain using the integrated Wing Riders DEX.
To Cardano, that was the purpose of the challenge, right? To help people to migrate to Cardano. So, and that isn't just assets. I mean, we're not just talking about sort of asset migration and like a one and done. After that, there needs to be somewhere that a user can manage, let's say Cardano, Milkomeda C1, and Ethereum assets together at the same time. So not just for asset migration, but for that kind of multi-chain management. We wanted to make both of those things very, very easy for, let's say, even the least technically skilled user, right? So we looked at what was in place already. Have you ever migrated, let's say, have you ever used the Milkomeda bridge personally?
I have, but it's been quite a while since the bridge hack, right? Once that bridge hack happened, that was my kind of red warning.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have been put off bridges, right? Especially after the Nomad hack was pretty kind of close to the ecosystem. Yes. So, I mean, you'll know then from having tried it before that it was a case of, you have your MetaMask wallet, you have to add Milkomeda to it, like it used to be called Add Custom RPC. Now it's Add Network. So you add the network, and then you still need another Cardano wallet to receive Milkada and then ADA. So it was a case of multiple wallets, multiple tooling, some kind of technical know-how needed to add these chains. And it wasn't as easy as it could be. So we applied for funding to simplify this. And we were awarded, I think, just under 100K to integrate Milkomeda, Ethereum, add Dapp connectors so that all of these different accounts within your NuFi wallet, your Cardano and Ethereum and Milkomeda accounts can all connect to a bridge at the same time. So we have a couple of features that made this possible with NuFi. I don't know, have you perhaps seen, in fact, I didn't catch your name. I'm going to pause right here to ask you your name.
My name's Brian. I run Hero.
Brian.
Then you got Jenny, and then you got Alonzo is behind the Epoch.
Okay, Brian. So I was going to ask Brian. In fact, I'll come back to that in a second. So what we decided to do was to create this wallet to make it easy to migrate, but we faced a couple of obstacles. Firstly, that NuFi just isn't connected, or it isn't supported, let's say, or compatible with bridges like Cbridge, for example, or multi-chain, where you would bring your Ethereum liquidity to Milkomeda C1, and then you would bring it to Cardano. I mean, NuFi wasn't compatible with the tooling that you needed to do this. So to get around that, we added a feature to the wallet called wallet emulation. I made a couple of videos. You haven't seen this, have you, Brian? The wallet emulation feature?
I have not. Is it on your timeline where I can pin it to the top of the space?
Oh, it is somewhere on our timeline. We have a couple of videos. What I'll do is I didn't realize that I could do this while I'm talking to you. This is I'll how modern.
You talk, I'll find it.
All right, brilliant. Well, what we did is we had to innovate in a couple of ways to be able to make this proposal work, basically. One thing that we did to make sure that NuFi Wallet was compatible with the bridges and with, let's say, the DEXs and any other tooling you might need to migrate, we added this feature called wallet emulation. What it means simply is you can connect, if you have a NuFi Wallet, you can connect it to any Dapp, like an asset bridge or a DEX, even if NuFi isn't supported. I mean, if you click on Connect Wallet and you don't see NuFi there because it isn't yet compatible, what you can do is you can click Connect with MetaMask, for example, or you can connect with Eternal, or you can connect with Flint. And clicking Connect with these three wallets will actually launch NuFi instead. So we have a feature that injects NuFi and uses these existing wallets' connection options, right? So if, for example, MetaMask is disabled and you come to a bridge and you click Connect with MetaMask, NuFi will launch instead. So through this feature, we made sure that, I mean, it's good to have a wallet that supports these three chains, but if it isn't going to connect to the tooling you need, it's pretty useless. So through wallet emulation, we guaranteed that you can use NuFi to move assets with bridges, and of course it connects to any of the Dapp too. So that's the first, I would say that was the biggest kind of innovation that kind of came out of this whole process, because it's now something that we do for other chains too. For example, if you're a Solana user, you can connect NuFi to any Solana Dapp as long as it supports Phantom. And like I said, to any Cardano Dapp that supports Eternal or Flint, as long as these wallets are disabled in advance. So the first feature that we're pretty pleased with is the wallet emulation. And secondly, to make sure that this whole migration process doesn't become, let's say, stop and start, we've made it possible to use all the different tools you might need at the same time. So for example, on, let's say, Brian, if you're using MetaMask, and I show this in a couple of videos on our timeline. Maybe after the call, I can send you a link or two to show you what I'm talking about.
I will send you my email address. You will send me those videos directly, and I will overlay them onto our YouTube video.
Oh, that would be lovely. Great. So what I'm talking about now is the ability to use Dapps on different chains, which is something MetaMask doesn't allow at all. For example, let's say you're using OpenSea on MetaMask, and in the next tab you were to open PancakeSwap and then change from Ethereum to BSC networks. You'll find that MetaMask disconnects you from previous Dapps that you've had open, because you can only use one chain at a time, right? So you can have all Ethereum Dapps open in your browser, or you can have all, let's say, Polygon Dapps open, but you can't use a Polygon and an Ethereum, and a BSC Dapp at the same time in the same browser, because MetaMask doesn't allow it, which is fine. It's not the end of the world, but it would mean if you're migrating assets, let's say you have an Ethereum Dapp in one tab and you have a bridge in another and a DEX in another, and you're doing this across a few different chains, it's impractical to do that with something like MetaMask. So we had to kind of almost change the way that a wallet connects to a Dapp. So what we did simply is we made every Dapp connection unique. So if you're using a Dapp and you then leave that Dapp and you change to a Dapp on a different network, it doesn't affect anything else you're using in other tabs, which is a big improvement on MetaMask. So I would say that those two features, connecting to any Dapp and being able to use the Dapps on different chains at the same time, those are two innovations that we're pretty pleased with. And again, these had to come out through Catalyst and through making sure that NuFi is actually usable. And it isn't just another kind of box ticking exercise we wanted to make some real utility with the wallet.
So I just want to maybe simplify this. So what you've built is a tool, a one wallet solution where I, as a Cardano and Ethereum user, because I do own some Ethereum, not a crap ton. Thanks, Angel Baby Hit Squad. That's your fault. But I can go use your wallet. I can have my Ethereum and my Cardano in the same wallet, and I can move that liquidity between chains without having to go between multiple wallets, and it's kind of a headache sometimes. So
yes, that's exactly right. You phrased it perfectly. In fact, we should swap places, Brian. You should be talking about NuFi because that's exactly right.
Yeah, I think that's just kind of the way to make it simple, right? There's got to be a lot of tech behind this, and I don't know if you're a tech person, but I would love. Is this open source, or is this all? Has it been audited? What's the kind of behind the tech scene?
Right, it isn't open source, although that is something that we talk. A Dapp, for example, is so. It's something that we aren't. It's something that we know is a good thing to do, and we have done it in the past. Not with NuFi currently, although that it is something that it's possible. I won't say it's off the table, but for now it isn't. In terms of audits, we get asked this a little bit. It doesn't always make sense to audit something that is going to change, let's say, next week, right? We're not run on codes that don't change. So an audit may be, for certain parts, outdated the following week. What we do instead is we have a number of security measures behind the scenes that guarantee that a user is in full control and is safe at all times. I hope that answers the question.
Okay, so there's some trust assumptions there, and yeah, that's
sure.
Fine. Epoch, you first, since you're co-host, and then Crypto College.
Cool. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
So I got a question from someone in the audience, and I'm going to read it.
Please.
Ordinal inscriptions are taking Bitcoin by storm. Theoretically, Cardano could also do ordinal inscriptions on native tokens, but it would require wallet makers to support it. Have you thought about ordinals and how wallet makers could push innovation on that front?
I haven't thought about ordinals. I'm not familiar with ordinal subscriptions, so I can't give a lot of insight into that, I'm afraid.
All right. Well, if Lido were here, I'm sure he would have something to say about ordinals, but we can wait for your follow-up.
Yes.
Maybe in a future space.
Absolutely. Well, I'm community manager for NuFi, and my technical proficiency is good enough, I would say, at times, but there are things that simply aren't for me to answer. But what I will do is I'll speak to our CEO tomorrow morning, and I have some things to send to Brian anyway. So if the user who asked that is interested, maybe perhaps tomorrow I can, or what I'll do is I'll find the user who asked that and I'll ping them with a decent answer, because that is a good question, and innovating and keeping up with things like this that aren't perhaps standard but will become standard if they are useful is something we're absolutely all about. So let me get back to that user if that's okay.
Yep, I went ahead and sent you the question.
Brilliant! Thank you.
To your account there, so feel free to just reply to me and I can connect the dots. Or you can also pop in, like Brian said, we're Monday through Friday for 2 hours at the same time slot.
Wow.
So if
that's
you show up at the
impressive
or the end, yeah, we can banter.
Do you? So just asking about your 2 hours a day. Do you get new guests every day? That seems like a lot of talking.
Interviewed over 600 people building on Cardano and in blockchain in general.
Wow, that's great. Very nice.
At one point, we interviewed 3 people a show. Remember that, Epoch?
Oh, that was chaos. That was absolute chaos doing 3 at a time. But we switched to doing 1 or 2 for real big announcements or big, clients. We may do like the full 1 hour slot. So the show opens. We have 30 minutes of banter. We have a 30-minute guest segment, then another 30-minute guest segment, and then 30 more minutes of banter. So that's kind of how the show has been for the last, I don't know, Brian, 9 months. And that seems to be our stable state. So we're having a lot of fun and hope to hit 1,000 projects soon.
Great. Very nice.
And NuFi has been added, but Crypto Coalition, you've patiently been waiting 12 epochs. So go ahead and ask your question.
No, it's all good. It's all good. I'm here all day. I'm here for an hour and a half more. It's Nate from Crypto College NuFi. I have a quick question. So when you set up this multi-chain wallet, are you importing your current wallets, or are you creating a new wallet? And do you have to go through every chain, and how are the seed phrases for that all handled?
That's a good question, Nate. You can do either. You can create a new wallet from scratch, you can import your existing wallet using its seed phrase, or you can pair your hardware wallet accounts. You can pair hardware wallet accounts for all the blockchains, all the 5 chains we support, and a few of them work with Ledger and Trezor too.
He just said a key word, folks, just so you're aware. He just sent off a big green flag in my head, and that was, you can connect your hardware wallet.
It's a green flag? Good.
Yes, an absolutely great green flag.
Yes, good. I mean, you'll know from A Dapp that we loved our hardware wallets right from the beginning. So that's something we almost guarantee when we add a new chain, that you can, with at least one type of device, manage your hardware wallet accounts. To go back to your question, Nate, before. So yes, you can create a new wallet from scratch. You can import your existing wallet. And then you manage so NuFi acts almost like an umbrella wallet, and within that you can have new or existing Cardano, Ethereum, C1, Flow, blockchain, and Solana accounts, right? And like I said, these can be hardware wallet accounts too, but you can manage your hardware wallet account alongside non-hardware wallet. These could be brand new accounts. For example, let's say you keep most of your assets on a ledger, for example, but you might want to scrape off, 100 ADA here or there to do a bit of NFT shopping. Yes, you can do that from your hardware wallet, or put it into a mnemonic account and do with it what you will. So yes, the account management side is very flexible and all encompassing.
And so, let's say if you were to go to a new browser or get a new computer, is it you just log in with a one NuFi and it auto imports, or do you re-add everything?
That's a good question too. So starting, let's say about 3 months ago, we added a cloud sync element to our recovery phrase. So when you create a new NuFi wallet, you'll be given a recovery phrase if you want it. If you're only using hardware wallet accounts, then we don't make it mandatory for you to write down the recovery phrase, because that will only restore non-hardware, which you may not use at all. The 15-word recovery phrase that you get from a NuFi wallet, you can restore that on a new device, and it will restore all of your hardware and non-hardware accounts. So you don't actually have to re-add anything.
That's perfect. Excellent. Thank you.
Yeah, I need to look more into the tech of all this, because it's kind of, I enjoyed using Milkomeda and going over there and doing the decks and trade. I'm a trader. I want to be able to get access to that liquidity and trade those tokens on the Ethereum blockchain. Especially now that the bull market's coming. So I'm definitely interested in your product, right? And trying it out. So I'll probably be doing that over the next few days. So I appreciate it.
That's great. That's great. I will say that it's perfect for people like you, Brian, who have, you said before that you have assets on different chains. If they happen to be the chains that NuFi supports, then that's it's going to make things easier, in my opinion. And I mentioned before this ability to have different Dapps on different chains at the same time, so you can have all your Ethereum indexes in the first 3 tabs, and you have your Milkomeda DeFi indexes in the next 3 tabs, and then your Cardano DeFi indexes. You can have it all laid out at the same time in the same browser tab, and switch between the different blockchains, as you see fit. And like you said, the bull run is coming, right? Fingers crossed. So if you're into DeFi, for example, you can have DeFi on all 5 chains running at the same time in different browser tabs with NuFi. And any transaction and asset movement that happens, you see in your NuFi wallet, with all your assets side by side. So I hope you do give it a go, Brian. And like I said, I'm going to send you a couple of videos that shows what I've mentioned today, and I'm going to answer as many questions as I can. I'll relook at these Q&As that are happening right now.
Yeah, so I was going to say something and I lost my train of thought, but I definitely, I as a trader, one of the things that I want to be able to do is most of my liquidity is on Cardano. And let's be honest, there's not much trading liquidity on Cardano right now. So if I can move that, and it's a lot less hassle than it has been in the past for me to, if I spot one trade on Ethereum, I absolutely, if I believe in that trade, will move liquidity there and trade for it. And this is going to be a reason to make it easier for me to do that. And it's kind of one of the things I've been waiting for. I still have a problem with bridges. I still don't trust them, but I'll never put all of my funds there, right? That's the key, risk management. So
sure,
kind of the way to look at it. But we're kind of running to the end of your time. Any last things that you want to get out and make people aware of? Where can people follow you? Where can they?
Yes. Excellent, thank you. One thing I'd like to mention is we're running a competition. Actually, it's related to what I've talked about today. It's tag an Ethereum project you'd like to see on Cardano to celebrate this, Ethereum Milcom C1 and Cardano kind of migration abilities that we have now. So if you would like to win yourself 100 ADA, please head over to NuFi_official. That's our Twitter channel, and you'll see. I may even share this with you, Brian, as well afterwards. So it ends tomorrow. You can win yourself 100 ADA. It's a fun little competition we're doing. So that's one thing I'd like to draw attention to. And secondly, if you're interested to know more, if you have any questions, you can always jump into NuFi's Discord server, follow us on Twitter, and all of these links are on our homepage, nu.fi. You'll find everything you need, and you can reach out to me at any time. I'm anybody here. Like I said, I'm community manager. So if you jump on Discord or on Twitter or on our support desk, you'll be speaking to me directly, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Well, I want to thank you for your time. I appreciate it. I learned a lot. Like, I knew that you guys existed. I've obviously have used Ada Lite in the past, but I maybe didn't know the complexity of what you guys were building. So it's nice to see kind of coming out and doing Twitter Spaces now. And I'm going to have to catch up on some of those videos.
Thank you. It's been really wonderful to be my first Twitter Space. Thank you so much.
Don't worry, we've broken that cherry for a lot of projects. Some of them have become extremely successful. So
that's wonderful. Well, I'll turn my mic off. I'm going to stick around and keep listening. So I'll be lurking in the comments somewhere.
Yeah, you want to stick around because our next guest is amazing. It's Tango Crypto, but we'll get to them here in a second. I think Epoch has something he wants to tell the crowd, though. Maybe he doesn't.
I do. Can you do it? Actually, I'm about to make a loud noise in my garage.
Yeah, go ahead, Ben. I figured your daughters were climbing up your leg. So Epoch has promised that he's going to get my funds back off of Celsius Network for me because I'm an idiot and I lost like $1,800 worth of Bitcoin on Celsius Network. So you should not be like Hero Pool. You should take your funds off a centralized exchange where you can lose them, and you should put them in your hardware wallet. If you don't know what a hardware wallet is, please check out our link tree. There's links on it to get a hardware wallet. But the big thing is getting it off the exchange and into your own possession, right? Into your own wallet. Maybe you want to try the NuFi wallet. There's lots of wallets out there. But you have the keys to your crypto, so now it belongs to you. So now you're going to delegate it to Epoch Pool. Why? Because Epoch Pool creates blocks. So you want to earn some extra ADA, so you're going to stake to Epoch Pool. I guess you could look at Hero Pool and Lido Pool too. They do stuff sometimes. But Epoch Pool could use some love. So show Epoch Pool some love. Do not ask Jenny about staking to her pool. She will yell at you. So don't do that.
It's for just purposes, learning purposes. Anybody can do that too, just to learn how it works.
It costs 500 ADA to register, right? So you could run your own pool if you want, especially if you want to test things on the node.
And you can get your ADA back if you stop. So that's
you retire the pool, you get your 500 ADA back. But the big thing is just getting that funds off an exchange and staking it to a stake pool. NuFi, I hope that you guys will be at Rare Evo in Denver, Colorado on August 24th through the 26th. Cross-chain conference. I think it would be a great place for you guys to maybe showcase some of these things that you're doing. So hopefully you look into Rare Evo. You can go to rareevo.io. I can set up a meeting with Rare Evo for you if you'd like. Just reach out to us and we'll get you in contact with that team. Great conference, and I can't wait to see you there. And don't forget COC10, COC10 at rareevo.io to save 10% on your tickets today. Do you think I'll make it to August without giggling at that?
I don't know. I giggle every time too. It's part of the job.
Territory.
What about the Lido Minute? This is your Lido Minute.
I don't know what happened at the. I heard there was some controversy yesterday, so we'll save the Lido Minute for Lido tomorrow, because I got some direct questions.
Ooh, I didn't know that part. I know they have a new mission statement, which is really cool for this circle. So it's a little more clear now that you can reach out to your circle members and, exchange information and expect for them to represent us and vice versa. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, so we'll stay tuned tomorrow. We'll get the juicy Catalyst information from Lido, our resident Catalyst expert, as he takes Thursdays off. But I think he's presenting it at our. I'm a Cardano ambassador, a Cardano Foundation ambassador, and so is Jenny. And Lido's supposed to take Thursdays off, but he's actually presenting at our meeting that we have right after this show. So I'm going to yell at him for not taking the day off.
And also we have Lucas from ICANN presenting. I know that.
Yeah, it's going to be a good meeting. But with that said, we have some other builders here in the Cardano ecosystem that I'm excited to learn about and how they're helping projects build on the Cardano ecosystem. So let's do the emoji sound or something for Tango Crypto.
Hi, hello guys, how are you? Wow. That was a really cool welcome message or sound.
I can't help myself sometimes. I'm like a kid in a candy shop. Please introduce yourself. Who's behind Tango Crypto's PFP?
Hi, well, I'm Javier. I'm one of Tango Crypto co-founders. We are two co-founders. And well, I'm Javier. The other co-founder is coding right now, so he's not coming to the show. Sorry. And we have been on Cardano for 2 years now. We started with a pool, so we also operate the pool Tango, and that was our beginning in Cardano. It was like we heard about Cardano and we say, okay, well, we want to learn more. What would be the first step? And we saw the whole thing with the pools and we said, okay, let's create a pool. So we started the pool. We started learning about the protocol. We started learning about the whole ecosystem. And that was our first step. We always thought since the beginning, we want to do more things because, my co-founder, he's a developer. He said, computer science. He has been developing for many years. I am on the side of the product and the infrastructure. So I've been working on infrastructure projects for a long time, setting up data centers and operating software in the cloud. So it was like a mix. I'm the hardware guy, product guy, and he was like the coding. So we say, okay, let's do something. And the pool was the first step. Then we say, okay, let's start building. Our first impression was like, how do we interact with the chain? How do we ask for transaction, get the UTXO? How do we build transactions? How do we put all these things into the chain? And we built an API, which is a Cardano API, in order to access Cardano. So with that API, you can do a lot of things. Like you can request a UTXO, you can see the assets, you can see the assets owner. Like it has like a 60 endpoints that you can use in order to retrieve information from the blockchain. And we spent a lot of time building the API. And our second product was webhooks, because we say, okay, like we have seen a lot of wallets, for example, that they interact with the blockchain. But for example, when you send a transaction for the wallet, in order to check that the transaction was sent and it's on the blockchain, they are kind of like all the time polling from the API. So poll till the information is the right one. So we think, okay, we need to do something that is more like a real-time event, something that will allow developers to react to events that are happening on chain. So we created this second product called NuFi, which is basically like real-time, like events on the Cardano blockchain. So if you're doing like something that is like a payment gateway, something like that, where you're waiting for payment or a transaction, you don't have to be all the time like polling the API to see if the transaction is on chain. No, you just subscribe to one of our webhooks, and when the payment or transaction gets done, we will notify you. And then you can do like applications that have better user experience, because they will react immediately. And you won't be like be polling for 20 seconds, 30 seconds, and that will make the user experience a lot better. So our two first products, which are now in February turning like the first year that in service, is the Cardano API and the webhooks. And during this whole year, we have like a 99.99 uptime. So we didn't have any major, we didn't have any breakdown, our API service didn't break during the whole year, which has been amazing. And we supported all the hard forks during the year. So it has been kind of like a proven that the architecture that we designed is working, because we were able to provide our customers with uninterrupted service for a year. Then we say, okay, let's build something that is more like user-facing for everybody. And then we built NFT Studio. NFT Studio is a mix between a no-code tool and an API. So the basis of everything that we build as an API, everything that we build is API-driven. So we first build an API in order to to create collections, manage collections, and mint the NFTs. And then on top of that, we build a very easy-to-use user interface for people without coding knowledge, for anybody, basically, who can just click, make a few clicks, upload content, write some metadata, and then with one, generate a payment link that can be shared anywhere. You can share it in an email, you can share it on Twitter, you can put it on your own website, and who clicks on that payment link will have a website with wallet integration, so you can connect your wallet and buy the NFT. So in essence, it's no cool tool, but also an API platform that anybody can use in order to upload their content and mint their NFT collections. And also it has like great performance. We have put a lot of time in order to make it reliable. And we have put a lot of time on the user interface to make it really, really easy for everybody to launch an NFT collection. And well, that's it. That's our three main products. And if you have any questions, I'm here for that.
Oh, I'm sure I have questions. I just don't know if you're ready to answer them. The first one is, do you drink coffee? And if so, how do you drink your coffee?
I drink like 5 coffees a day.
You're a good man. I don't care what Jenny says about you. So don't take any of that.
I asked first, so you weren't paying attention.
No, I heard it earlier.
I like Italian coffee, Lavazza.
Ooh, yummy.
No, can you tell me this API that you offer, right? What all can I do for it? And then you kept referring to it as a no pull tool. Can you? I know a lot of people who create NFT projects don't know what that means, so maybe you can kind of explain what that entails.
Okay, well, first on the API. So the API is a tool for developers. In that case, you have to be a developer in order to use the API. And what is this API? So Cardano is a blockchain, as we all know. The thing with blockchains is composed of a lot of nodes, and these nodes, they only talk to them. So it's like a closed circle. The nodes, they only speak their own language and they talk between them. So if you want to build an application that will interact with the blockchain, interaction can be submitting transactions, getting information about anything that is going on, then you need to build like some sort of translator or bridge between the blockchain and what is outside. So an API is basically this system that sits in the border between the blockchain and the outside world, and it's like some sort of translator. So somebody from the outside can ask to this system in the border and say, "Hey, give me all the UTXOs for this address, or give me the assets in this address." All that information is contained within the blockchain, and an API is just like a translator, like somebody who takes information from inside the blockchain to the outside world, or put information from the outside world into the blockchain in the form of transactions. So this is the API is built for developers. Any kind of application that you're building on Cardano will need something like this. If you're building a wallet, if you're building a DEX, if you're building an NFT marketplace, you name it, anything that will interact with the blockchain will need some sort of API.
I think that's the best way I've ever heard anybody describe an API. It translates. Yeah, I like that.
Clip it, baby, clip it.
And the second question, which is the no code. So on that side, the no code is only for NFTs. So I mean, a lot of people know how to mint NFTs, of course. You can follow like the documentation, and with the Cardano CLI, you can mint the NFT. But that will require some sort of technical knowledge. And of course, you will need a Cardano node. You will need a lot of infrastructure that a lot of people will be really hard to do, because, for example, if you're an artist, you don't have to know about operating systems. You don't have to know about installing a Cardano node, something like that. So our goal since the beginning was, okay, let's build something for artists. Let's build something for somebody who doesn't have to know anything about the blockchain, doesn't have to know anything about Cardano. And they just log in and they say, create collection. Like this name, I'm going to get paid this. Let's upload the content, and they say, well, for how much I want to sell these NFTs, you set the price, and you can, well, of course, it has whitelist, it has a way to upload the collection from the browser in bulk. So which is another thing that is quite important. We have seen other solutions where you have to set up like FTP servers, you have to do more like a system administration tools. But our goal since the beginning was this has to be very easy. We don't want any kind of external tools. Everything that has to be done from the browser. So, for example, if you want to upload a collection with 5,000 NFTs, something like that, you can do it all from the browser. You just drag your file up and it will start uploading. So the thing is that we try to avoid even technical jargon on our application. We put a lot of tooltips. We have great documentation. We have a lot of videos, and that's why it's no code. It's like anybody, just like watching some tutorials or following the documentation. We really test our tool with people without the documentation. I like to do hey, sit here and create a collection, upload NFT, put it to sale. So we always try to do like a user interface testing with people without actually reading the documentation or watching a YouTube video. And that's how we are trying to build this tool. We always go like to try to avoid the friction and try to avoid the technical knowledge on that side. But of course, if you're technical and you just want to use the API to mint NFTs, well, you can use the API, because everything that we have built on the dashboard, on the user interface, at the end of the day is built on top of a API that we also provide as a service. So anybody can grab this API and build something on top of it.
Interesting. I love the fact that you're in the ecosystem and building, and the fact that you started out kind of as a pool, and then you seen these need for these tools, and then you've built these tools. What kind of interaction have you seen so far with like the API? You said it hasn't gone down. Is there a lot of projects using it? If other projects are interested in getting to use your API, maybe there's an up-and-coming project in here, how would they get a hold of you to find out what
well,
else?
I mean, in order to start using the API, it's quite easy. Just go to our website and click on Start for Free. You will create an account, and then it will give you like an API key and app ID, and immediately you can start using the API. You don't even have to talk to me or to us in order to start using the API.
Decentralized. I like it.
Well, will be more like automated. It's not really
automated.
But
yeah.
So the
Wrong,
thing is
wrong
that
word.
you don't have to talk to us. Same for NFTs. You don't have to talk to us in order to mint an NFT collection. You just go to the dashboard, start for free, upload your content, generate your payment links, and sell. Same for the webhooks. Is like for example, I posted a demo on Twitter. Like, it was a video when Book.io was doing this drop. I I set up the webhooks, because we have a webhook that will tell you when a new NFT is minted. So it's called the asset activity webhook, and you can configure like when an NFT is moved or when an NFT is minted. And I remember I put the policy ID and say, well, when a new NFT is minted, and I watch in real time with the webhooks without touching anything. I watch in real time all the events, how the books were minted. So people can do all of that without talking to us. And by the way, Book.io use our API. They are our customers.
Awesome. Book.io. I own one book. We had an author on from there, and he minted a book, and I minted one. It was a very smooth process. So I like Book.io.
I mean, they use a combination of providers. I'm not going to take the full.
No, I'm sure. They would be dumb if they didn't, right?
Yeah.
So, go ahead, Crypto College.
But they start using us because of a very particular need they have. Like, for example, when they do this airdrops, they first have to do like a snapshot, and a lot of people own these books. So he was like using another API provider, and the snapshot was slow. So it was taking him like a day or something like that in order to create the snapshot. And that's why he get in touch with us. And of course, he has a pay plan. And then with our API, he's able to do the snapshot. It's like in a few minutes, something like that.
That's awesome. Crypto College, go ahead.
Hey, so I know you said you started up where there's a lot of your resources are free to use. Does holding your NFT grant special privileges or discounts, and likewise like staking with a pool? I know you just mentioned a subscription plan.
No, we don't have NFTs. At least for the time being, we don't have an NFT collection. So the API we have a free plan. Anybody can use it. And a lot of people use it like for free. And the thing is that when you are building your app, you are kind of like testing your idea. You don't really know if your idea is going to succeed or not. What I always tell to people is like, yes, You can set up your own Cardano nodes. You can set up your own DBSync, Ogmios. You can create your infrastructure for yourself, and you can use it. You don't need to use an API. But how much money will cost you to develop all that infrastructure and to maintain all that infrastructure and to make it high available, to make it redundant? So it will take you months and a lot of money. And then you launch your app, nobody likes it. Oh, you spend a lot of money. So what I always tell people is like, don't do that. You can always do that later. So start using our API, develop whatever you want to develop in the free plan. It's like you don't have to pay anything. Once your app is used by a lot of people, and then you're starting to get traction, you can move to a pay plan. The pay plan is $49. And it's like it allows you to do a lot of requests per month. It allows you to do a lot of.
Just so everybody's aware, it probably costs more than that just for a server to run DBSync. So.
Yeah, exactly. And then, well, if you have more needs, well, we can scale. And then if at some point you say, well, I want to get rid of all of this, I'm going to do it by my own, okay, because at that point you already tested your product and you know everybody like it and you know it's going to be profitable. In the case of the NFTs, then it's different. There's no like a monthly fee or something like that. It's just like when you launch the collection and when you're selling, we have like a multi-segmenting. So at the same time that you're selling, when people pay, then we take our fee, which for the time being is quite cheap because it's 2 ADA per sale, and it's basically 2 ADA per transaction. So if you sell one NFT, it's 2 ADA, but if you sell 10 NFTs, also 2 ADA. If you sell up to 20 NFT, it's still 2 ADA, the fee. So to close your question, we, for the time being at least, we don't have an NFT project that you can use those NFTs in order to get discounts or use our service. At least not for the time being.
Maybe there's an idea for you, right? Because truthfully, DBSync, right? I know they've done some things to minimize, and I haven't tried running it for quite a while, and Lido's not here. But I know a year ago, if you didn't have 32 gigs of RAM, you weren't doing shit. So, and
even
32
now,
gigs of RAM on the cloud is going to cost you well over $100 a month. So
no, you need at least minimum 64 gigs if you want to run DBSync properly.
So that a couple $100 a month just to run the server for that, right? So a $40 fee is really not, when you think about it in the grand aspect, plus the time that it takes to set that, it's not easy. Months to learn, right? For a project. Now, someone like you that knows how to do it's not quite as hard. So that's a big help for projects. So definitely.
Well, I mean, setting up your own DBSync is not an easy task, and set it up with redundancy and with high availability is even harder. And if you want to have like read replicas, and you need to have like a distributed, like a high available infrastructure that you can patch and you can upload, because all the time we have new nodes, we have new versions of DBSync, and then how do you update and upgrade and you patch your operating systems without downside? So that's the hard part when I talk to people when they say, oh, I want to set up your own DBSync, and I'm like, okay, how are you going to provide service? How are you going to provide service and with 99% availability? It's quite hard.
It's not an easy task, especially like we're talking about projects that are NFT projects, right? These people are artists and they're not programmers, so it's definitely a very useful tool. And I appreciate the builders because I know how long it takes to build that shit, and doing it for myself, just messing around versus building it for potentially hundreds of projects. There's a big difference. So so anything, last couple words you want to get out, just to let the people, make sure that you get out what you need to the people? Anybody has any questions, feel free to come up and ask.
I would like to encourage people to, because we have I mean, we have a lot of competition in these segments that we are on the API. We have lots of competitions on the NFT. We have some competition, a lot of competition. So what I would like to do is for people to be kind of like curious and open-minded and just give it a try. As I said, it's free and it's very easy to subscribe and to start testing it. We have a test net on mainnet. So for example, if you want to start trying on the testnet, even if you want to mint some NFTs because you want to try the NFT platform first and see how it works on the testnet, you can mint all the amounts of NFTs that you want on the testnet for free. So yeah, my final words are like to just encourage people to be open-minded and start trying new solutions. And that's it.
Excellent. I appreciate your time and coming out. And you talked about having a lot of competition, right? Especially with things like the API. I need to remind people that sometimes the same people are used for the API, so that when you see congestion, sometimes it's not that project, it's the API service provider that they're using. So it's good to see more of these providers so that work gets kind of spread out across multiple projects. Thanks for listening to Cardano Over Coffee. We'd like to thank our guests Dan from NuFi and Javier from Tango Crypto. Remember to like, subscribe, and enter into the land grab giveaway for one Clayverse plot by sharing one of our videos on Twitter. Make sure to tag Cardano Over Coffee. And don't forget, Rare Evo tickets for Denver, Colorado, August 24th through the 26th. Tickets are on sale now. RareEvo.io. Use coupon code COC10 for 10% off the already heavily discounted tickets.